Do you struggle to take everything you know, everything you've built, and turn it into an offer ecosystem that people actually understand and want to buy? You have the expertise, you have the ideas, but getting all of that out of your head and into offers that connect, speak to the right people, sell with ease, and actually grow your business, that's a whole different skill set. And that's exactly what this show is about. Welcome to the Offer Mojo Show. I'm Lori Young, offer strategist and creator of the Offer Mojo framework. I help coaches and expert led business owners package their expertise into offers you love and buyers actually crave. Because when your offers finally click, everything else gets easier. Let's get into it. This episode is about the 6 checkpoints that decide whether your offer is ready to sell, not whether it's ready to launch. I'm going to tell you about the time I built an offer so wrong that 2 people showed up and I ended up scrapping the whole thing. Then we're walking through the offer refinements I make most often, pillar by pillar, so you can look at your own offers and make any refinements they need to get ready for the back to school business surge. By the end, you'll have a real definition of a sales ready offer. In November of last year, I built something called the Offer Confidence Lab. 2 people showed up, not 200, 2. And I'm going to be honest with you about how this happened because I think it's more useful than pretending that I always get this right. I'd been watching another coach in my industry encourage her community to run live events and workshops. And I thought, let me just give this a try, even though I've always resisted this kind of offer for myself. I told myself it would be a low ticket feeder offer, something that let people experience how I work before they invested in anything bigger. I already had a free resource called the Offer Confidence Toolkit that had done really well. So my logic was people love the free version, so let's build a paid room around that same idea. Here's where it went wrong. When I built the offer, I went way too broad with the positioning. It became anyone can show up and ask their questions about offers and get their most pressing offer challenges answered. There was nothing specific to walk away with beyond a live Q&A. No defined outcome, no container. And I priced it at $27 for 90 minutes of my time, which, when I think about the real value of that time, it's nowhere close to what it should have cost or what people would have gained from it. The messaging wasn't landing either because it wasn't built around anything specific my audience was stuck on. It was just, come build your confidence. So in November, 2 people signed up. And I remember sitting there looking at the number of emails I'd sent and the number of posts I'd put out just to get 2 people in the room and feeling really discouraged. Not about the 2 people, about how much it had taken just for that. I ended up scrapping the offer entirely. Not because a low ticket offer was the wrong idea. Ecosystem wise, it made sense. A lower ticket entry point that could lead into something bigger. But the offer itself, the thing that was filling that slot, was wrong for who I am and wrong for what my audience needed. Here's what I know after years of doing this work. Sales readiness for your offer is almost never one thing. It's rarely just the price or one detail or one feature that's off. It's usually a combination of things working against each other. And here's the hard part. We're too close to our own offers to see it clearly ourselves. Unless your offer is converting at a high rate, there's probably something in this list that needs a look. So let's go through it. 6 pillars, and inside each one, a few refinements that I come back to again and again with my own offers and with my clients. Let's start with positioning and strategy, because if this one is off, nothing else in your offer stands a chance. Positioning and strategy is the foundation everything else gets built on. It's knowing exactly who your offer is for, the specific result it delivers, and why someone would choose you over anyone else doing similar work. Really, it's the answer to three questions: who is this for? What do they walk away with? And why you? When this pillar is solid, everything downstream gets easier. Your messaging practically writes itself, and your sales conversations stop feeling like convincing and start feeling like a natural next step. When it's fuzzy, everything downstream has to work twice as hard to make up for it. So, the first refinement that you can make in this category is building real strategy underneath the offer, not just a service built around whatever you already know how to do. Most of us were never taught that offer strategy is its own discipline. We hear about brand strategy constantly, we hear about marketing strategy constantly. Offer strategy, almost nobody talks about it, which is worth spending time on since it's the thing you're selling. And the thing you're selling is what builds your business. The second refinement is narrowing the positioning when the instinct is usually to keep it wide. There's a real pull to stay broad so you don't accidentally exclude anyone. But broad doesn't feel inclusive to the person reading or listening. It feels confusing. And confused people don't buy. Narrowing almost always brings in more of the right people, not fewer. The Offer Confidence Lab is a perfect example of this. Anyone can show up and ask their questions about offers. That's not positioning. That's just a cheap Q&A session. And then the third refinement is getting clear on what makes you different from someone else doing similar work. This one's easy to skip because it doesn't feel urgent until you start blending into the noise and watching someone else land a client you were just as capable of serving. So here's your gut check. If a stranger read your offer description, could they tell you exactly who it's for and what changes for them? If you have a hard time explaining your offer, that's your answer. Next up is your offer structure. Structure is the shape of your offer. What's included, what's not, how long it takes to deliver, how someone moves through it, and what they walk away with at the end. It's the container that the transformation lives inside. Good structure makes an offer easy to explain in one sentence. The first refinement that you can make with your structure is trimming it down to fewer, sharper outcomes rather than trying to solve every problem inside one offer. It feels generous to include more, but when an offer tries to deliver every possible transformation at once, it can start to feel overwhelming, and clients begin sorting through what they need versus what's just extra fluff. The second is pricing based on the real math rather than a gut feeling or what a competitor charges. What does it cost you in time and effort to deliver this? What's the transformation really worth? This one is personal for me. The Offer Confidence Lab was priced at $27 for 90 minutes of my time. I didn't do the math. I just priced on a feeling, and the feeling was wrong. The third refinement that you can make is choosing a delivery model that fits who you are and what you're building, rather than whatever's trending or whatever a coach recommended. Group program, community, one on one, self study, they're all valid, but only when they fit the person delivering them. This is the one that hits closest to home for me. The Offer Confidence Lab is a perfect example of the wrong delivery model. Not wrong for the market, just wrong for who I am. So here's your gut check. Can you explain in plain terms exactly what's included in your offer, why it takes the time it takes, and why this particular delivery model is the right one for you and not just the trendy one? If the answer is some version of, well, it depends, structure is where you're going to start. The third pillar that we are digging into is messaging. Messaging is how you talk about the offer once the positioning and the structure are solid. It's the bridge between what you built and what your ideal client needs to hear to say yes. Good messaging doesn't try to convince anyone of anything. It reflects back what's already true for them clearly enough that they recognize themselves in it. So, the first refinement that you can make with messaging is leading with benefits over features. A feature is what's inside the box, a benefit is what changes in someone's real life. Clients care far more about their life afterward than what's technically included. The second is speaking the client's actual language, not industry jargon and not language that only makes sense to you as the expert. It means getting inside their real headspace before you ever hand them a solution. And the third refinement is calling objections out directly rather than hoping that they don't come up. Every person considering your offer has doubts running in the background. Can I afford this? Will this work for someone like me? Saying those doubts out loud in your messaging almost always builds more trust than avoiding them. So here's a quick gut check. Ask a business colleague or an ideal client to read your copy out loud. Does it resonate for them? And does it sound like you understand exactly what your ideal client is afraid of and hoping for? The fourth pillar is to look at your ecosystem. Your ecosystem is how your offers connect to each other. It's the path that a client takes through your business from the first free thing they experience with you all the way through to whatever you offer at the highest level. A strong ecosystem doesn't just sell one thing at a time. It keeps people moving forward with you rather than finishing one offer and then disappearing. For the Offer Confidence Lab, ecosystem wasn't the issue. It was positioned fine as a low ticket entry point that could lead into something bigger. The offer filling that slot was the problem, not the slot itself. The first refinement that most people need here is mapping the path a client takes through your business rather than building offers as a separate, disconnected containers. Nobody is really taught ecosystem thinking, so most experts never even sit down and map it. The second is making sure that your freebie leads somewhere rather than existing just because you were told you need one. It should point directly at what you sell, not sit off on its own, completely unrelated to your paid offers. And the third refinement is closing the gap between offer tiers so that clients don't fall out of your business entirely. A freebie that goes straight to a $5,000 offer is a leap of trust that most people aren't ready to make in one jump. And a core offer with nothing after it means starting over with someone brand new every single time. So here's a question to ask yourself. If someone said yes to your freebie today, is there an obvious next step or does the trail just go cold? Now let's look at the fifth pillar, visibility. Visibility is how consistently and clearly your offer reaches the people who need it. This is where a lot of people assume the problem lives, and it's almost never where the problem starts. Visibility can only do its job if what it's putting in front of people is ready to be seen. So, the first refinement here is choosing a visibility strategy that fits your actual personality rather than the one everyone insists that you have to use. Forcing yourself onto video when you hate it rarely holds up long enough to be consistent. The second is narrowing to fewer right places rather than trying to be everywhere. I've lived this one myself. You've heard me talk about it. I've tried the full omni-channel approach, being on every platform at once, and I simply cannot maintain that pace. Showing up in fewer places consistently beats being everywhere inconsistently. And the third, and this is a big one, is building a solid, proven offer before pouring energy into marketing it. There is so much noise in this industry about posting more, showing up more, marketing more, and far less about making sure the offer underneath all of that marketing is actually ready. For the Offer Confidence Lab, I sent wall to wall emails and posts to get two people. That wasn't a visibility problem. The offer underneath it wasn't ready yet. No amount of posting could have fixed that. So here's your visibility gut check. Before you post again, ask yourself honestly, is this a visibility problem, or is it something underneath the visibility that visibility can't fix? And last, we have your sales assets and system. Sales assets and system covers everything about how you present the offer and invite someone to say yes. Your sales page, your enrollment process, your discovery calls, your follow up. It's the moment where everything else you've built either gets communicated clearly or it gets lost. So, the first refinement you can make with sales is remembering that a sales page or a funnel supports selling, it doesn't replace it. A lot of what gets held up as proof that pages alone sell comes straight from launch culture. All those posts about massive numbers that make it look like build the page and buyers appear. That just simply isn't true. The second is matching your sales strategy to the stage that you're in. If your offer is brand new, a page and a few social posts won't sell it on their own. Real conversations and real relationships do that early work, whether it feels comfortable or not. If you're trying to fill a group program with only 100 people on your email list, it's probably better to stick with one on one until your email list is bigger. Unless, of course, you have time on your hands to do a bunch of personal outreach. And the third refinement is developing an actual process for the sales conversation itself, rather than hoping it goes well. I lived this one for years. I'd get on a discovery call and give away free advice, solve the person's problem right there for free, and they'd leave and never buy. Now I have a real process. I never give free advice on a call anymore. I ask real questions. I test for readiness. I ask permission before I ever present a solution. My close rate now is nothing like it used to be. For the Offer Confidence Lab, this pillar never even got tested. Positioning and structure choked offer signups before sales even had a chance to work. Here's your gut check. If someone got on a call with you today, do you have a real process, or are you just hoping the conversation goes well? So here's what I want you to walk away with today. There are really only 3 ways to find out if an offer is sales ready. And I want you to picture them like rungs on a ladder. The bottom rung is launch it and find out. This is the most expensive way because you're spending real time, real energy, and often real money building something before you know if any of these 6 pillars are solid. That's exactly what I did with the Offer Confidence Lab, and I found out the hard way in real time in front of an actual audience. The middle rung is to beta test it. Now, this is better. You get real feedback before you fully commit, but a beta test still has blind spots. People often show up for a beta because it's cheap or because they already trust you, not necessarily because the offer itself is dialed in. You can beta test something and still miss a broken pillar because the goodwill in the room is covering for it. And the top rung, the one I recommend, is to audit your offer first. Before you spend a single hour building or a single dollar promoting, you look honestly at all 6 pillars: positioning, structure, messaging, ecosystem, visibility, and sales. You find out what's solid and what's not before it costs you anything. If I had audited the Offer Confidence Lab before I built it, I would have caught the positioning problem in about 10 minutes. I wouldn't have needed 2 people and a wall of unanswered emails to teach me what an honest audit would have shown me for free. So here's what I want you to do before you do anything else with this episode. Think back through those 6 pillars: positioning, structure, messaging, ecosystem, visibility, and sales. Did any of the refinements I just walked through make you go, oh, that's me? Pick two or three, just write them down. You don't have to fix anything today. Just notice where you saw yourself. Then ask for each one, what's the belief underneath it? And is it true? Now, if you're sitting there thinking, I know something in my offers isn't quite right, but I can't tell you exactly what, that's why I actually built the Offer X-Ray. It asks you specific questions across all six of these pillars based on your own offer, and it shows you what's working and what needs attention with real specific fixes you can make right away. Not vague encouragement, actual real direction. I use it on every offer I have, every single one. I've even hired a copywriter to go back in and tighten my own messaging even more because of what my own audit showed me. And I'm the person who built the thing. So, unless your offers are selling like hotcakes right now, you're going to walk away from that audit with something worth fixing. This whole summer has been about resting where it counts and sharpening where it matters. And fall comes back fast. The Offer X-Ray is sitting at $67 right now, and it's one of the better ways to spend a slower summer afternoon, going through every offer you have while you still have the room to sit with what it tells you. I'm going to drop the link in the show notes. It's no pressure, it's just an invitation while there's still time for you to refine your offers. All right, here's what I want you to hold on to from today. Sales ready isn't about your price being perfect or your funnel being fancy. It's about your offer meeting a real want, a real need, and a real willingness to spend. And you being able to explain it in language that makes your people say yes. That's it. Everything we talked about today, all six pillars, all those refinements, they're just different ways of getting closer to that one thing. You don't need more offers. You need one that's ready to sell and sell well. All right, my friend, next week we are going to wrap up the summer and I will tell you all about everything I've built while everyone has been basking in the sun or chauffeuring kids to summer camps. I'll see you in the next episode.